Hey there. In today's video, I am showing you another way to use your Gelli plate to make a image transfer. And it can be a little bit frustrating, I'll admit, because not every transfer comes out the way you would like. And what I'm talking about is when you're using a magazine image. So I know there are other ways that possibly if you use a laser print or something, those might come out a little bit better. But most of us don't have access to a laser printer. So it's like, what do we have access to? And a lot of us might not even have access to magazines because those don't really people don't get magazines much anymore. But if you have some, this is a fun project, ways to use up your the pages in the magazine to make some different kind of backgrounds. And the process is kind of a two-step process, and you just don't know what the results are going to be. But I hope you have fun, and I hope this spurs you on to think about other things that you can use your Gelli plate besides just making marks and collage paper. Well, this could also be used for collage paper, but you know what I'm saying? Instead of just using it in the same traditional way, layering and making marks, there are other ways to use it. And I would be curious if you have some very unique ways. If so, be sure and leave a message and tell us about it. So anyway, I hope you have fun, and I hope this inspires you to use your Gelli plate.
Okay, to get started, I have my Gelli plate, and I have it on a piece of deli paper so it doesn't stick to my desk. I have a brayer and this little dictionary that I clean my brayer off on and then use for collage papers later. I'm going to primarily, as the base, be using the Liquitex Heavy Body Mars Black. And then for each of the transfers, I'll probably use a different lighter colored background. Then I have some photos that are not photos, magazine pages that I've chosen to use. And then I also have some papers that I'm going to, when I'm all done, I will pull them up for the transfer to happen. Just some regular, it's called marker paper, and then some vintage book paper and music paper. So we're going to start there. That's all it takes to begin. And obviously you can use whatever paper you have on hand. To begin, I'm going to lay out or squeeze on some paint onto my Gelli plate and then brayer it till it's evenly coated. Now I will say that the image transfer happens better when the paint isn't too thick. So sometimes I'll brayer it on and then brayer it off, if that makes any sense. So that is the first step. The next step is to take whatever image you've chosen, and I'm going to use this. I like the text, sometimes comes through and sometimes doesn't. And also just keep in mind that when you're doing these, you may need to do several in order to get one that you actually like. I tend to use them just as a background in my art journal or collage pieces. So it doesn't really matter to me how it turns out, but if you're particular about that, then you may have to do this 2 or 3 times in order for the transfer to be the way you like it. So then I'm just going to flip it over and lay it down and then move my hand to press it into the paint. And I'm going to do this really firmly. You could use a brayer if you have one. I do have another one somewhere, but so I'm not going to get this all munked up on the back. But if you had a brayer, that would be ideal. But I kind of like physically touching it so I can make sure that the contact on the Gelli plate, I can feel it. I can see how firm it is. So that is the next step, and then we're going to pull it up. Okay, so let's pull this off. And you can usually tell, I can see some of the text is up there. And there is the person down there. So I think that turned out really good. Now I just kind of get rid of this other piece, set it off to the side. Now, this gives me a lot of, obviously space that I could use. I could do some more and put some text there or something, but I think this is fine, and I'll probably put it on something that has some background like a book paper or music paper. So now what we have to do is let this sit for 5 minutes until it fully dries. That's about what I usually allow. And then we'll go to the next step. Okay, 5 minutes has passed. That does not necessarily guarantee success, but now I'm going to put another color over the top. I'm going to use the yellow oxide. And I kind of like to, I don't know, I usually start in the corners. I feel like those are where the big globs happen to be. And I hope some of this transfers. This is so cool. So, and I like those words up top. So, but we'll see. You never know. And if you get too attached to it, then, you just have to go with it. So, looks like I might not have needed that second bit. So let's get this on, and then I might take some off because I don't want it too thick. Obviously, you need enough, but then it's like this fine line, and I think the more you do it, the more you can kind of sense. It's nice when you can see, and I got a little bit right there. It's nice when you can see through and see a little bit of the transfer that you're trying to make. That usually tells you that you are in a good place, in a place where it is perfect. So what I'm going to use today to lift this off is this music paper. I guess I'll use this side, doesn't really matter. And I also will say sometimes using these old papers, they tend to stick. So I'm okay with that because I like the unexpectedness, which is part of image transfer. I feel like you're never going to get it. Well, you usually aren't going to get perfect. So that's kind of what you get when you get an image transfer. Okay, I'm going to kind of turn this sideways when I peel it up so you can kind of see what's happening. So here it comes. It looks like my image did come. I don't know if I can actually do this, but I'm going to push a little bit more on my person and right here. But I don't know if that was smart or not. Yeah, maybe. Okay, yeah. Okay. So I like this. This is super awesome. My letters didn't really come through so much, but I like the music in the background. And this is exactly how I would have thought it. This person, yeah, this turned out great. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. For the next two image transfers that I do, I'm just going to do it in fast forward since you've seen it in I've kind of gone step by step. There's no need to do that again. I will just do some different images just so you can get the idea and watch the process a few times. All right, so let's get started. I thought I would show you, before I show you the final ones again, the one I worked on some image transfers last week and using the kind of the same color scheme. I predominantly use I predominantly do images that are people. I like this. I like the look of that. So today I thought I would try some different things in terms of not doing, full on faces. But let me show you this. I like the text that turns out. This one pulled away and ripped the paper, and that is something that can happen. And this one did not turn out at all. I do have some words down here and a few images. So this, you do run into this where it just, you don't get any of it. Often, these are great and they would be awesome backgrounds. So the ones that I did today were the person that is kind of looking out. I haven't done a lot of kind of scenes like this with a whole figure on it. I really like how the netting turned out and it's on the music background. That one turned out great. And then I thought it would be fun to really mix it up and do the Seattle skyline. I had a Seattle magazine, and so it was super fun. And this one turned out fabulous. I don't really know why some turn out so much better than the others. And you can so clearly read the text. It's shocking. And then this final one, I kind of wanted to show you different things because so you could get your ideas going. This was just a drink, bourbon or something. But wow, I think this turned out super cool. So you could do any image from a magazine. It could be, a landscape, a house, a cat, whatever you wanted to do. I was just trying to show you because typically I would do a face or a person, but I thought, wow, it's kind of cool to do something other than that. So, and anyway, I hope that this inspires you to try this image transfer. It can be a little frustrating, so you got to give it some time and some effort. Some will turn out better than others. And I hope that this just sparks your ideas and different ways of using your Gelli plate.